Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always so much fun. You make it so easy because you continue sending email, Donna@donnasedge.com. Continue, Donna@donnasedge.com. You want to see more of the gardening shows, and here we are. I'm an old gal from the South, and I love gardening, and I love also the medicinal aspects of gardening as well. So we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes, but we're going to be talking about the humble onion and how that helps. But first, different ways you can find us. You can find us on channel 182 on Charter Communications. And also that's up close to the Huntsville, Alabama area. You can also find us on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. We love getting in contact with you there as well. And on the radio, you can find us on WZLA, the biggest country station right here in South Carolina, and more ways you can find us all through Facebook, anything that's social media. We absolutely love being part of your life there as well. Again, email Donna@donnasedge.com, Donna@donnasedge.com. I want to show you a really quick video first. It's very short, so I think you'll enjoy watching this out in the garden. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what a total waste that people do when they are throwing away this part right here. Again, you boil that. You put that in like with some soup, or you just plain old boil it and then drain it. You've got so much flavor. I mean, look at all of this. See that? And this right here that's just a great part. And I just cut that part off. I didn't want to put that in with my soup. But anyway, this is what you do. You go on ahead and you clean it really well. Let it drain as much as possible. And then what you can do is just put it in a bag. And then when you would like to add a little extra onion flavor, or maybe the kids get sick and they've got an earache, you can use this stuff right here as a medicinal. Absolutely better than anything that you can buy. And anyway, that's just it's a good thing to do. And anyway, this soup is going to be super, super good. I've added a little bit of onion flavor without having to. Let's go ahead and take you around here. Now, the kitchen's a mess. This is a working kitchen. But this is the dehydrator right here for those onions. And they're good and they're sweet, and you're going to love every one of them. We're going to be doing something with the tomatoes. I've got this packet right here just full of tomatoes in the dehydrator. And by the way, when you're putting onions in a dehydrator, make sure that you're doing as even a slice as you can. Now, I've had this workhorse right here. This is a Nesco. I've had this food dehydrator here for probably 15 years or so. This thing's a workhorse. So if I can make a suggestion and you're thinking about getting a dehydrator, Nesco is, to me, the best around. Thanks for watching. There you go. There you go. Okay. And I love the dehydrators. You can get them. They're so inexpensive, and they'll last a long time if you get a good quality like your Nesco and some of the others that are out there. But go on ahead and check that out. Find one that you can air dry all of these things. A lot of people will air dry outside. The problem is we've attracted a lot of birds here, and I don't know. They're going to fly over and they're going to do their thing, if you know what I mean. I just had much rather put them in a food dehydrator. But now put it on as low a setting as you possibly can, okay? And as you do it slow, and have patience with that as well. But I wanted to show you the onions, okay, that have been dehydrated. Right here are some of them. And I just love them. I love the way they turn out. And when you open this jar, oh, it smells so heavenly. But I would much rather do this. And I've put some in the freezer. With what I was showing you, the scraps that you would normally throw away, don't throw those away. Let me tell you what you can do. So you can go ahead and put those in a little bit of water, and you want to boil them for about 10, 15 minutes. And then you want to strain them. Now, I'm talking about all the stuff that you would typically throw away on an onion. Okay, then you want to strain it really well, and you've got onion juice. And you can keep it in the freezer. You can put it in a jar and can it, whatever you want to do. I keep mine in the freezer. And then if you get an earache, Have your little dropper. If the kids get an earache, 1 or 2 drops is all it takes. And I'm just telling you, in just a few minutes, again, better than all the money you're going to spend on pharmaceuticals. I'm going to get in trouble for that. But I'm telling you, it's better, and you don't have to worry about what's in it either. So that's part of the deal. Okay, now let's go. We've still got some time to talk about this, I think, and it's the onion. And the onion, has been used for centuries in traditional medicines as well. And it remains valued today for its nutritional and health, and also supporting properties. Now, one thing that I'm doing a lot of studies on this, and I like my old books. I mean, I do a lot of research, with the new information that's out there too, but I have some old books that are absolutely fabulous. You're going to get like the best information from those as well. But the onion supports your immune health. And the reason it does that is it contains vitamin C. You don't think of an onion with vitamin C. You think, oh, that's it's going to be maybe an orange or something like that. But no, onions have a lot of vitamin C to them. Antioxidants, you got that in there. Sulfur compounds, a lot of people don't think about that. But these nutrients help support the body's natural immune defenses and may also help fight off the common seasonal illnesses, like when you get a cold. It also helps with cough and congestion. Now, a traditional home remedy does combine sliced onions and also raw honey. If you can find yourself a local honey beekeeper, you found gold right there. And I know it's a little expensive, but I'm just telling you, you get what you pay for. If you'll buy from a local beekeeper, you're going to do yourself a favor. Also at your local farmers markets, you'll be able to find 9 times out of 10, you're going to find a beekeeper out there, maybe a couple or 3, but make sure you get you some honey from these. And I want to tell you something else. It won't turn sugary. I mean, that honey that you get, that raw honey, is going to last a long time, a very long time. They've opened some of the tombs from the mummies, and they've actually found honey that's still good in the tombs. Can you believe that? You know why? It's because this God's nature creature right there, you little honeybee. And I've got a bunch of honeybees out there, and I love every one of them. Now, after several hours, then the mixture creates a syrup that many people use to kind of soothe their coughs and irritated throats. Now, a simple onion honey syrup, let me give you the recipe for that. It'll be like 1 onion. You want to thinly slice that. You want 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey. You want to let it sit for 6 to 12 hours. And then what you'll do is take 1 teaspoon as needed. Now, it's not for children under a year old due to the honey. It is rich in antioxidants, and the onions contain a powerful antioxidant that may also help to reduce oxidative stress, support healthy inflammation responses. It also promotes overall wellness. Red onions, I've got a garden of them out there. Red onions generally contain higher levels of certain antioxidants than the white ones do. And that's why I love see, it looks kind of weird. Well, it's because it's red onions. And when you mix that in with your soups and you mix this in with everything that you cook, it turns into that vibrant red again. And I can hardly wait to start cooking with that. Also supports heart health. Regular onion consumption, on a regular basis, may also help support healthy blood pressure levels already within the normal range, support healthy cholesterol levels, also promote healthy circulation. And these benefits are largely attributed to sulfur compounds and flavonoids. And they may also help regulate blood sugar. Some studies actually suggest that onion compounds may help support healthy blood sugar metabolism when combined with a balanced diet and healthy lifestyle. Okay, the natural properties in an onion, historically, the onions have been used because they contain compounds with antibacterial and antifungal activity. While not a replacement for medical treatment, they have long been used in folk medicine, like I do. Also supports digestive health. Onions contain prebiotic fiber called inulin, which feeds beneficial gut bacteria and may improve digestion, support a healthy microbiome, also promote regular bowel function. Traditional poultice uses, in a poultice. Historically, a warm onion poultice were applied externally for chest congestion, ear discomfort, use your juice for that as well, but ear discomfort, minor skin irritations. Modern medical evidence for these uses is limited, but they remain part of the traditional herbal practice. So since we're building a medicinal food garden, onions make an excellent companion plant. And we're going to be talking about that in just a few minutes. But let me go ahead and mention another couple things to you about these onions. Now, if you want an onion and you've got them dehydrated just like this, oh, by the way, always put what kind it is and also put the date on it. So May the 30th, 2026 is when I harvested, and then I put these, it took me about 2 days in the dehydrator to get them dehydrated like that. So what you want to do is hydrate them. So what you'll do is just take it, and let me tell you, if you get a teaspoon, it's going to turn into 2 teaspoons, okay? Because it's shrunk. So when you add water to it, it's going to plump back out again. So let's say I want some for a burger, okay? I want a good 20 minutes for it sitting in just plain old water if I'm not cooking with it. Now, if you're cooking and putting this in a soup, just put just a little bit into the soup. If, let's just say the recipe asks for a cup of onions, you want to do half cup of dehydrated. Okay, so that, again, that's a good note that you need to make sure you take care of. Anything dehydrated, it's going to be like really, really, oh, by the way, Phil loves onions, but the problem is the onions bite him back. So we found that the dehydrated, for some reason, I need to do some research on that and find out why. You always want to know why everything. But we found when I use onions, when I'm cooking with onions and I use the dehydrated ones, they don't bite him back like the others do. So that's just, if you're having a problem eating onions, and onions are good for you. I've been begging him for years to eat more onions, eat more onions. And he'd say, well, for one thing, it's going to give me bad breath. You're not going to like that. The other thing, it just bites me back. Well, you know what? This is going to work right here. Let's cut into a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to show another very short video. And then I'm going to give you some ideas, some more medicinal properties, and then other ideas on how to plant these things. I think you'll be really glad I did. I'll be right back. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. Finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas.
Lowe's knows that the projects you build in spring are the ones you can't wait to share. It's why we make sure you have our best deals with My Lowe's Rewards, and that you get help from people who've
been there,
done that.
Try this.
This spring, we'll help you build something rewarding.
Hey, Stan. What's up? I made you something. Oh, thank you. And I got something for you. You grew these? Of course.
Lowe's knows how to help you spring.
Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. It's always so good to be with you Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. We've been talking about plants, and USDA, by the way, is a great website for you, USDA. And, all you got to do is just type in your zip code, and they will give you complete information about when you need to plant seeds, when you need to harvest, and they'll give you all the awesome ways and how you can harvest. Let's talk a little bit. I'm going to throw a video out there for you in just a minute, but I wanted to talk to you about companion planting onions in your garden. If you'll put just a couple of onions, they help repel some of those garden pests, the pests that you don't want. They store well for winter use, provide both culinary and wellness benefits. Also, onions are really easy to grow in South Carolina gardens and all over the South, basically. Fun garden fact is the green tops of onions are edible and contain many of the same beneficial compounds found in the bulbs, so use them fresh in your soups, your salads, and your omelets. Now, let's give you another tip. An onion a day may not keep the doctor away, but its antioxidants, sulfur compounds, and prebiotic fibers can be a valuable part of a healthy lifestyle and a home apothecary. Yeah, you can have a home apothecary just like I do. All you got to do is just plant some seeds and run with it. Okay, now I wanted to talk to you a minute about planting onions in raised gardens. And, some people do a lot of container gardening when they're planting their onions. So let's go ahead and look at a quick video, and then we'll be right back in just a minute. Hey guys, Donna here. So right now I'm up to my elbows in onions. And so these are the real pretty purple sweet ones that I like to grow. And right now I've got 3 layers, about to have 4 layers going up in the dehydrator. And this way I've got, as soon as they're coming in, I have more onions and I know what to do with in the wintertime. And these are really good when you slice them up and put these into, anything. You can pickle them, you can do all kinds of stuff, but I like dehydrated. Now, it's going to take several hours, okay, but you want all of the wet out of these. And if you don't get all of this wet part out of it, what's going to happen is they're going to start molding. And I hear that a lot from y'all. You say, well, Donna, I tried that and it started molding. Make sure they are so dehydrated that they are like a potato chip when you just get one, hold it in your hand, and just let it be real crunchy like a potato chip. Now, I wanted to show you something else. And this is going to be a different segment. So right now, these are peels and things that I have left over from my tomatoes. And it's probably going to get a little bit, let me kind of get that. There we go. Yeah, the steam from that is kind of doing something. But what I wanted to show you is, okay, here are the onions that I'm doing something with. And yeah, you get this ugly part right down here, the core of it. A lot of people throw that away. Do not throw that away. If you're making a tomato soup or, you're going to be straining out the tomatoes anyway, why not throw that part into the pot? And I'll show you what I've done because it gives it more flavor. You're just throwing flavor away. Okay, let's see if I can find a core part without, all of the steam coming out. I'm just about finished with this. Okay, so there's some core that you see right there. And also this skin part. See this part right here of the onion? I saved that too. And so what I'm going to do is clean it up really good, and I'm going to boil it down. Now, if there's any rough spots on it that, look, terrible, like this and that, I'm going to cut off. I'm not going to put that in there. But all these leftovers, I'm going to keep those. And these will make great onion soup. So what you'll do is you'll put them in a pan and you'll start boiling them. Then you're going to take them out, you're going to put them in the sink, and you're going to strain them real good. Don't throw all that great flavor away. I mean, onions are good for you. And another thing a lot of folks do is if you have kids who have earaches, or if you have an earache, did you know that just a few drops of onion juice is better than anything that you can buy? But anyway, this is about onions today, and thank you so much for watching. I told you again what to do with it. Don't throw anything away. Okay, and I wanted to show you again what the onion needs to look like when you've dehydrated it. Let's see if I can find a pretty big one. Okay, you want it to be like a potato chip. You know, a potato chip, you just kind of like snap it and it's done. Now, if it bends in any way, it's not ready yet. And if you leave it in there, along with all that moist, I mean, just even one is going to mess up the entire jar of your onions. Now, another thing is a lot of people, and I've watched a lot of folks cook, and what they'll do, instead of like, let's just say you need a handful of some of the onions to go in a soup or whatever you're cooking, instead of just pouring some in your hand and then putting it into the soup, what they'll do is just put the jar over that pan, and it has steam coming up. I mean, it's all kind of moisture coming up. What you're not thinking about is the moisture that gets inside that jar, and it's going to make these get hard, and they're going to start molding. So again, always put what you want, measure it out, put it in a bowl, put it, if you're like me, I hardly ever use a measuring cup, but if you're going to put it in your hand, put some in your hand, and then throw it into the soup mix, and you won't have mold. And these things will last you now I use a lot of them, so it won't last me that long, but I like to have at least 3 or 4 jars of these put up to use over the winter months, because first of all, I don't like crying and peeling onions. I don't like slicing them. I'd rather cry once and be done with it and just go ahead and have them hydrated. Okay, let's continue talking about how we plant gardens using onions. So planting onions in raised gardens, that's what we did. Now, the neat thing about a raised garden versus, just planting it straight into the ground is you can plant onions closer together. And now in the ground, it's first of all, you're going to be competing with rocks. You're going to be competing with roots of trees. You're going to be competing with everything out there. Even though you think you've got everything pulled up, you're going to have all these weird weeds coming in. So you're competing with that. That's what I love about a raised garden or a container garden, because when I plant that thing in the garden, those roots just go straight down because they've got all that wonderful, wonderful moisture, wonderful soil. Okay, now, what you want to do typically is plant the onions for large bulbs, if you want great big bulbs, 4 to 6 inches apart, okay? 2 to 3 inches apart for green onions, and those are really good to cook with as well. I love my chives too. That's part of the onion family. So I've always got a bunch of chives going on. Okay, now the rows need to be 8 to 4 inches apart. You also want to plant them pretty deep, cover only the roots and the base. Don't plant the whole bulb down there, okay? Because later on, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be separating some of that dirt, and all in the long haul, when it starts growing up and you start seeing these bulbs come out, you want those bulbs to set almost right on top of the ground. So let's pretend my fingernails are the roots, okay? I got these long fingernails on. So you want them down in the ground, but you want that bulb to kind of just be over the ground. That's going to be a successful onion. Okay, now the seedlings, you want to plant them the same depth that they were growing previously, whatever that was. Now, I want to tell you why that the raised garden beds work well, okay? And because I have more success doing that than planting in the ground. For one thing, I'm a lazy gardener. Well, I'm not lazy, it's just I don't have a whole lot of time. And so I'm spending a lot less time doing stuff like weeding and stuff like that. And that gives me more time to harvest, and it gives me more time to have everything, and just get those things ready for whatever I'm going to preserve those. But I want to talk about raised gardens. Okay, I'm a huge cheerleader for raised gardens because they give you better drainage. Now, we've had rain here lately. I'm talking a lot of it. And what's happened is the range just went all the way down. You remember when we started those raised beds and we put a whole bunch of pine cones down at the bottom? And you remember me telling you that pine cones are kind of like a sponge, and what they'll do is they'll soak in all that moisture, and then they're going to just decay, and then you're going to have like an awesome garden the next year too. It's actually going to be even better. So the older that gets, the better garden you're going to have. So just think of it that way as well. But you're going to have better drainage. It's not going to just sit there, because onions, they like moisture, but they don't want to sit in it. And they get very temperamental, okay? Now, you're going to have looser soil for those larger bulbs. It's going to be easier weed control. You're not going to be constantly pulling weeds. Consistent moisture. you're going to have soil mix for your raised beds, and let's tell you what that is, okay, and how to put that together. So you want 40% topsoil, you want 40% compost, and 20% something like a pine bark, or maybe a peat moss, that kind of a thing. But add compost annually. Okay, they don't want to be fed compost all the time. So just on the year. And then containers, best for your patios and your small spaces. Like if you live in, let's say you're listening to me right now and you're in New York City and you're going, well, great, you're on a farm. No, you can have them on your patio and in very small spaces as well. So let's tell you how to do that. So you have the requirements for the container. You want a minimum depth of, say, 10 to 12 inches, I would say. Okay, now let's go down a little bit further and look at the width, because the larger the width of the container, the better. Okay, that's why I like raised gardens. You want drainage holes. You've got to have drainage holes. Now, some people will put rocks down at the bottom and let that be like the drainage. That doesn't always work. You really got to have holes in that container. Now, you can use like old boxes. I mean, you can use old like moving boxes, plastic boxes, stuff like that. You can use that as well. Now, let's talk about the soil mix. So you want a high quality potting soil. You want 20 to 30% of the compost, and you want that mixed in, okay? Avoid using gardening soil in containers because it compacts and it drains very poorly. So on a container garden onion spacing, what you want is 4 to 5 inches apart for full size onions. Okay, so that's what you're going to get for that. 2 inches apart for green onions. You want about a 5-gallon container, and with a 5-gallon container, you can grow about 3 to 4 large onions, or 10 to 15 of those green onions, which are, by the way, still great to cook with, and they're great in salads. Let me tell you about the sun requirements, because this is extremely important. You want at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sun every day, if at all possible. Now, here in the South, we'll make up for it. Some days we're going to have 10 hours of it, and some days you might have a rainy day. You won't have as much. But consistent watering. In other words, don't just flood it every day. You want consistent gardening. As a matter of fact, when I was at Auburn University, I got to take some classes. And the neat thing about what I heard is the instructor said, something, is better to do light, like every 3 days or every couple of days or so in your garden. It's better to water lightly than to just flood it, for once or twice a week. So light watering is going to be better. You've got to be consistent with that watering as well. But even moisture, especially while the bulbs are sizing up, is extremely important. Now, let's talk about watering your raised beds. So deep watering is what you need to do, and that's 1 to 2 times per week. About 1 inch of water weekly. Now, containers, check daily during the summertime. The water, when it comes to the top inch of the soil, or when it feels dry, you know how you put your fingers around that and it starts feeling dry just a little bit, do not let it get to the cracking stage or you'll lose your onions. Containers dry out much faster than raised beds. Okay, now companion plants. This is something else if we've got time. I don't have a whole lot of time. Onions grow very well with tomatoes, with peppers, with lettuce, with carrots, and with beets. They love it, but avoid planting directly inside pole beans, peas, because they're going to overshadow it too much. Harvesting for storage onions, you want to harvest when it's about 50 to 75% of the tops have fallen over and they start turning yellow. Mine are beginning to get to that stage right now. You want to cure them, and you need to cure in a dry, shaded location for 2 to 3 weeks before you start storing them. Now we've got Yukon Gold potatoes that are already yellowing and they're flopping over, and the onions are progressing pretty nicely. So I'm right on schedule for productive early summer harvest in my garden this year. Okay. Thank you again so much for watching. And we appreciate your sticking with us. We appreciate all of our sponsors for staying with us as long as, we've got sponsors that are like really been around with us for a long time, a couple of decades or so. But again, we thank you so much for being with us, and continue sending email because I love them. I cherish your emails. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. Thank you so much for watching.